Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Diabetes Care Summit. I'm Dr. Barbara Akimbua, and I'm your health buddy. This summit is for you if you've been diabetic for a while and you've been struggling with keeping your blood sugar controlled, either because you have problems knowing what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, what else you need to do to keep healthy, or you do know these things, but it's difficult to be motivated. It's also for you if you have an elderly parent who is diabetic that you care for, and you find juggling medications, clinic visits, meals, and then illnesses in between overwhelming. Or you're a beautiful married woman and all you would love to have is a normal pregnancy and delivery. And instead, you keep having miscarriages and stillbirths as a result of complications of diabetes. Or it could be your husband. He is the one who's diabetic. And during sex, you have problems. It's either most of the time he can't get it up, or he has other problems while you're having action. It's also for you if you're a health enthusiast and you believe that prevention is cheaper and better than cure. And so you'd like to learn anything you need to know to stay healthy. During this summit, you listen to loads of interviews by different specialists, including myself. Some of the interviews are short and some are not so short. But I'd encourage you to watch each video till the end because there's loads of important health information and you're getting it all for free. So, once again, welcome to the Diabetes Care Summit, and don't forget, I'm Dr. Barbara Akimbua and I'm your health buddy. See you on the healthy side. Today we'll be talking about change, navigating change, how to get your life back. And today I'm the one doing the talking. There's no one I'm interviewing. So it's going to be this way. I'm going to answer a set of questions that I've received over the years whilst treating patients who have diabetes and also in discussions with friends and family. It's not easy to change, and it's something that needs to be done with chronic disorders like diabetes. So if we understand what change is, we understand why we need to change, and we understand the things that make it difficult for us to change, then I guess it's a bit easier to find a way around our own peculiar difficulty or our particular difficulty. So the first question I'll be answering is, what is change? So change is doing something differently. It's making a difference, making a shift in the way you used to do something or how you used to do something. So in the past, it used to be a particular way or a particular method, and now it's in a different method or in a different way. That's what change is. It is a shift. So the next question is, why do we need to make changes? So the main reason why change is necessary is because we desire a different result. If we're doing something or if we're making something and we're not happy with the results we're getting, then we make a change so that we can achieve or attain our desired results. So usually change is not just random. There is a reason, and the reason is because we desire something different to what we have or what we are experiencing or what is available to us now. We want another experience, another taste, another another feel. So we have to make a shift, and it's something that we have to do. Or if we don't know how to do it, we learn how to do, because we see that somebody else is getting the results we want, and then we go find out, what is this person doing that I'm not doing? How is this person going about it? Why is this person's results different from mine? So the second question is, why is change hard or difficult? Now, if you're used to doing something in a particular way and you need to change the way you do it, first of all, you have to acknowledge that there's a reason why you need to change. And then you learn this new method that you have to change to. And because it's new, it's not what you're used to. Depending on how complex the task is, if it is um, something that has only one step, let's say, is the way you hold a bucket to carry it when it's full of water. So, for instance, you're used to lifting a bucket with one hand, and then you discover that if you hold it with two hands, you can move faster with it and get to your destination quicker. But you have to learn how to balance the bucket when you're walking and holding it with two hands so that the water doesn't spill and make your clothes wet. So, change, the difficulty is because you're learning a new skill. And the reason why it's difficult is because of the way our brains function. So, when you learn something, the steps are imprinted in your brain. And the more you've done it, the more times you've done it, the more firm the imprint is. So you can actually get to the point where you do it without thinking. And that's like with a skill like driving. Once you learn how to drive, you know when to step on the accelerator, you know when to step on the brakes, you know how to balance both accelerator and brake, you know when to step on the clutch, you know when to and it becomes part of you. You do it without thinking. But when you're learning something new, you have to think about each step before you make it, because the pathway is not imprinted in your brain. So with anything new, it takes time. You need to do it over and over and over again until it becomes in your brain. And that's how habits are formed. And that's why with a habit, you don't think about it, you just find yourself doing it. Because that pathway has become imprinted in your brain. Ah, when I feel bored, I should go out with my friends and have a good time. Or, okay, I want to go and have a good time, but it's late, or I don't want to spend money, or I'm saving up money for something else. So let me just stay at home and have a drink. Or let me find a book to read, depending on what it is that lights up your brain or what it is that you enjoy doing. So that's how our brains work. And that's why learning a new skill, gaining new knowledge is sometimes or most of the time difficult. The longer we've stayed with the knowledge we have, and the more difficult it is to throw away or discard that knowledge and acquire and replace it with new knowledge, so to speak. So if you've studied for, let's say, 10 years to learn a skill, and then you want to switch jobs, just imagine how difficult contemplating that will be, because it means you need to go and start from the bottom and work your way to the top again. It's like going back to nursery school when you finished university. It's not an easy thing to contemplate. So imagine habits that have been formed and that people you've been doing for 30 years, 40 years. It's not something that's going to be easy to discard. It's imprinted in your brain and it's been there for 40 years. And then you want to just change it in 2 days. It doesn't work like that. And that's why change is difficult. So the third question is, with diabetes, how does change or making change apply? So we all know, I'm sure we all know that with diabetes, most people think don't eat sugar, exercise, eat more vegetables, eat less carbohydrate. Some people will say eat no carbohydrate, but that's not true. So with diabetes, whenever anyone is diabetic or told they're diabetic, most times for type 2, they're already adults and it's not a parent that is taking care of them. So if you remember the first time you were told you were diabetic, I'm sure the first thing that came to your mind was no. It was no, I can't accept this. You don't know. Why? Because it's not something your mind associates with joy or happiness or pleasure. Another thing with change is it's easier to accept change when it's associated with pleasure or something that we value or something that we like. But if it's associated with something that we dislike or something that we think is going to affect us negatively, then it's more difficult for us to accept it. So any disease, or for most diseases, the first thing your first response is no. It's no. I can't accept this. Why? No. Why? Maybe there's a mistake or something. So already your mind does not accept even the fact that there is this problem. If you do not accept the problem in the first place, you're not going to do anything to change it because you've already closed your mind to it. You're not thinking about it. So it's like end of discussion. You can't build anything meaningful on that. You have relegated it to one side of your mind and put a padlock. Don't come out, just stay buried there. I don't want to, I don't want to have to see you or think about you or have anything to do with you. So the first thing is to accept, okay, there is this problem. If you accept that there's a problem, then you accept that there's a solution and that you are going to find the solution. So first accept that there's a problem and then accept that you need to find a solution. When you accept that, it opens your mind to receiving information and getting help that you need so that you overcome the problem, because you would need new information. You would need to change some things you're doing. Hi, have you heard of Soyo, the new diabetes care app? Studies show that the best medicine to take for diabetes is to get education about it. Because if you understand how it affects your body, you'll know better what you need to do to fight it. It will also help you to take care of someone else with diabetes. With the app, you don't just get education, you also get to make your management plan either for yourself or the person you're taking care of. There are also lots of other features like meal plans, medication, and other reminders to keep you on track. And if you fall off, don't worry, just get back on. This is how families can live healthy and happy with diabetes. Don't be left behind. Download the app at soyo.web.app to care for yourself or someone else with diabetes. Especially what you eat and how you eat. And that knowledge will not just drop on your laps. You have to understand it. And not just understand it, but understand how to apply it to you, because we are all different. We like different things, we like different foods, we eat different foods. And just saying I'm going to stop eating a particular class of food, like I'm going to stop eating carbohydrate, or I'm going to stop eating yam, or for me, I'm from Benue State and I'm Tiv, and the staple food of Tiv people is yam, pounded yam. So imagine telling a Tiv diabetic to stop eating pounded yam. 9 times out of 10, they won't listen to you. Yeah, because it's like, so what do you want me to eat? So first of all, accept there's a problem. Second, there is a solution and I'm going to find the solution. And once you've done that and you've opened your mind to it, then the next step is you must be aware that because what you've been doing for the past decades, because most people who get diabetic or who get told they're diabetic are in their 30s or in their 40s or in their 50s or in their 60s. So the changes you're going to make, you have to make gradually. That's first. And the change is not going to happen overnight because your mind has already imprinted your lifestyle and your life pattern. It's imprinted there already. And so the change is going to be a little bit more difficult the older you are. That's the truth. But the three things to remember: accept there is a problem, accept there is a solution, and then accept that yes, you're going to start making the changes, but that sometimes it will be difficult. But if you keep at it, then you would succeed, because you need to replace the old habits, the old life patterns with new patterns. And new patterns don't come in 1 week, they don't come in 2 days. It takes months and years. That's why in primary school, when you start with arithmetic, you add. When you go to primary 2, you still do addition. When you go to primary 3, you still do addition. You are learning to add, but they are making the sums a little bit more difficult, but it's still addition. So accept there's a problem, accept and know that there's a solution, and then accept and know that you're going to have to do these changes repetitively over time, and you will succeed. So the fourth question is, how can we make the changes we need for our health? I answered that partially earlier. So the first thing is you need to learn about diabetes. I'm not saying you need to go and become a nurse or you need to become a doctor, a health worker. No. There are some basic things about diabetes that you need to learn. What is it? What does it do to my body? How does it affect me? What happens when I eat because I'm diabetic? Once you understand that, then you understand, okay, so this is what happens, this is how I can manipulate, this is what I can cut down, this is what I can do, I can eat a little of this, I can do this, I can do that. And then you learn and you are happy because you are still eating what you want. And then, I have to exercise. Oh, okay. What is stopping me from exercising? My job. I'm commuting Monday to Friday. So what can I do? Okay, I'll devote 1 day in a week. That's a start. I'll devote 1 day in a week on Saturdays from so so time to so so time, and you block that time. Come rain, come sun, nothing will stop you unless it affects your life. You are going to do that. Once you do that and you keep at it, it becomes imprinted in you, and then you don't feel comfortable if you don't do it. That's the only way to change. But you have to want to change. Yes, you have to want it. Okay, so what makes it difficult to change? So there are some things that make it difficult to change. I said earlier that when anyone is told they have a disease like diabetes, the first thing is no. And that is because of beliefs that we pick up unknowingly while we're growing. We pick up from the society, from our family members, from people around us. So if you grow up in a family or in a place that believes that diabetes is a sickness of the rich, big people, and you don't, in your mind, you feel you are poor, or you are not rich, you are not a big person. If you are told you have diabetes, you'll be like, see this one, I've not even started enjoying myself, and you want to stop me from enjoyment. Back to sender. Yes, I've heard lots of times. Yeah, so your belief counts. And then some people will say, no, it's not in our family, or it's my sister-in-law or my mother-in-law. So if you believe it's not in your family, then you haven't accepted that it's a problem that you have. So you won't even look for a solution. And if you believe it's your sister-in-law or your mother-in-law that's bewitching you or causing you harm, then the solution you will be looking for is how to cause them harm so that they can no longer cause you harm. And then the vicious circle continues. So, what do you believe? What is diabetes? First of all, understand it. Your mind has to be open to receive new information. If it's not, then you can't make any change. There's no point. There is no way, because it's information that drives change. And new information keeps surfacing every day. Then, what are your values? That's another thing that affects whether you can change or not. Do you value being healthy? Is that something that is important to you? Are you desirous? Do you want, when you're old, or when you're elderly, or when you've retired, you are still in good health? You are still able to jog, you are still able to do some physical activity, you are still fit. If that is a value, if health is a value, then you know that for anything you value, you need to make an investment. You need to invest in it. And to invest in it, you need to plan. I will devote so much time to this thing. If you value education, you send your children to school, you pay their school fees, you paid for them to go to good schools because you value education. If you value expensive cars, then you will buy expensive cars. You understand? So, what are the things you value? If health is not one of them, then you are not likely to be willing or to be motivated to make a change, because what keeps you going when it's difficult? What keeps you going when you know that you have to do this thing repeatedly so that it gets imprinted on your mind, is what motivates you. And beliefs motivate, your values motivate. Another thing is religion. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a person of faith. I believe in God. I believe God is love, and I believe God works miracles. But I also believe there is a part for God to play, and there is a part that we too have to play. If you want God to intervene, it's okay to pray. It's fine, it's good. By all means, pray. But pray and do what you are supposed to do. It's like going to stand on the highway where you can get run over by a car, and then you are saying you are praying that when the car gets to you, either it will stop or it will hit you and then you will not be injured. God doesn't work like that. So there is a part we have to play, and then there's a part God has to play. When we do our part, then God makes it work. That's where the miracles come from. So even if a seed is planted in the ground and it's going to germinate and grow into a plant, it has to germinate. The bud or the shoot has to come out. It needs to get water, it needs to get nutrients from the soil. It can't say, I'll wait, God will come and germinate for me and God will absorb water. No, that's not what happens. So God is love, God is kind, but He needs us to do our part. And then I've already talked about the society and culture. If you grow up in a place where you don't go to hospital until it's you can't you've almost fainted or you've almost died, as an adult you do the same thing and it doesn't help. Yes, we don't like going to hospital, it's not our favorite place to go to, but sometimes we need to, it's like taking your car to the mechanic. I for one don't like going to the mechanic. But when the car has a problem, you have to go. So if you notice anything, any symptom, any change that you know is linked to illness, it's easier to have it addressed when you notice it or when you first notice it, because it hasn't gone far. The damage is not so much. But if you wait until the disease has done so much damage, like it has gotten to nonsense point, then it's tiring, because where to start from is even difficult, even for the doctors and the people that work in, especially for them. It's like someone, okay, let me use diabetes. When one of the early symptoms is increased thirst, you feel thirsty a lot. But as you drink water, you drink lots of water, you also urinate a lot. It's easier to treat and control at that stage than if the person waits until they start getting wounds on their legs and the wounds are not healing. Because it takes years to get to the stage when you have wounds on your legs and the wounds are not healing. So the cultures, the practices we learn, that what is done in the society is imprinted in our brains, and we learn those too, and we do them unconsciously. So there's a lot that we need to unlearn, and then there's a lot that we need to learn. Unlearn the harmful things and learn the beneficial ones. This is a new age. So the next question is, but if I learn what to do, it's difficult to keep to. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Do it again and 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 again. Then it becomes part of you. You know how to wear a shirt because you learned, you've been doing it, you do it almost every day. You know how to wash plates because you learned as a child and you've been doing it every day. You know how to wear your shoes because you learned as a child and you've been doing it every day. If you are told that you need to wear your slippers backwards, your brain is already saying, no, that's not right. Because what is imprinted in your brain is forwards. And so that is it. Repetition, 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 repetition. That is the key. So how do you stay motivated? You stay motivated by linking the change to your goals or to your values. I want to retire and be healthy and fit. I don't want to be a sick retiree who is drinking medicine. Or I don't like drinking medicines. I want to be healthy so that I don't have to be drinking medicines when I am elderly. Or I am an ambitious person. I want to own an enterprise, or I want to build an empire, or I want to have 30 billion in my account. If you are sick and you're spending money on treating yourself, even if you get that 30 billion, you finish it. So link your values, link your goals, link your achievements to what it is you want or what it is that you need to do. And anytime you think about, this thing, remember that I need to do it again and again until it becomes part of me. And I need to do it because I am going to have 30 billion. I want to be able to work and do something that will earn me 30 billion in my, or I want to build that empire, or I want to get that degree, or I want to be there for my children. I want to enjoy my retirement. Link it to what you want. So let's talk a little about diabetes. What is it and how do people get it? So diabetes, I'm going to give you a simple explanation. Diabetes is like is I would say it's an imbalance in some of the things that we need in life. And I'll explain. So imagine if you were cooking something on a pot and you had fire underneath the pot, a charcoal fire or firewood fire. The strength of the fire is what determines how fast and how vigorously whatever it is you're cooking in the pot boils. And the strength of the fire depends on how much charcoal or how much firewood and how much oxygen is fanning the flames. So diabetes is kind of like that. The pot with the boiling food is our bodies. The fire underneath is the food we eat. And the oxygen and the firewood and all those things are things that affect the food we eat. I'll go over it again. So imagine you have a pot and your pot is on a wood fire or charcoal fire, okay? And you're cooking something in the pot. So how fast what you're cooking boils, the way it will boil, and it could even boil over and spill over the flames, depends on how big the fire is. And the fire, the size of the fire depends on how much firewood you have and the strength of the wind that is blowing oxygen into the fire, okay? So the pot is your body. What you're cooking in the pot is your blood sugar, okay? The flame is the food you eat, and then the wood or the charcoal and the wind is things that affect the food you eat. Okay? Now, I'm going to take them one after the other. So, the wind and the wood are things that affect the food you eat. Some of those things are in your body, and some of those things are outside your body. The ones that are in your body are your mood, your what stage of growth you are at, whether you are pregnant or not, how active you are. And I'm saying your mood because when you are sad, when you are stressed, when you're uncomfortable, most people tend to eat more. Stress makes us want to eat more because when our bodies are stressed, what goes to our mind is there's danger. I need to be ready to run, or I need to be ready to fight to protect myself. So it doesn't matter that the stress is not, you know, an animal that is attacking you, or you are falling down from a cliff, or you no. Your body just knows that you are stressed, and it knows that when you are stressed, it means that there is danger and you need to protect yourself. So it makes the flame burn higher on its own. Okay, then the external stressors, no money, no fuel, yeah, you need to pay rent, you need to pay school fees, all those other problems that you get to worry about. "Hey, I'm going into this go slow again, there is insurgency in so place, my mother-in-law or my mother or my father is ill, I need to go and see them, the road is bad, hey, this, I need to get it." Anything external, that too your body interprets it as danger. So it's external but is working with the internal. So the two combine, and then your body feels, there's danger. Oh, I have to prepare to fight or to run away, and so your body increases the rate at which it produces your blood sugar, or it increases the amount of blood sugar in your body. So that stress, either external or internal, causes an imbalance. And if you need more energy to fight or to run, the next thing you need is, I need to eat so that I can increase my blood sugar. So you feel, your body tells your mind says, oh yeah, I feel hungry, you need to eat. And then you go and eat. But if you remember what I said about imprinting, it becomes a pattern. So even if you are stressed and you don't need to run away, you are stressed, you don't need to fight, that pattern is already set. And that's where comfort eating comes from. And because your body wants sugar, your blood sugar needs to be high so that you can fight or run away. You like things that have more carbohydrate or that are sweet. They give you that high that you need, and you feel that the stress has gone down. So there is stress on one hand, internal stress, external stress, and then there is the blood sugar and food on the other hand. So the way our bodies work, there's supposed to be a balance. It's, if your blood sugar is going high, it's supposed to come down. There's a normal level, so to speak, or a normal range. But when you have been stressed for a long time, over a long period, and then you've gone through that cycle so many times, the normal level raises, because it's like your body is perpetually needing to fight or to run away. So why should I even go lower? Let me be high. Let me be high. Let me be high. So that's what happens in diabetes. And that's why it's so important to make changes. And that's why taking medicines alone will work only for some time. Because when you take medicines alone, you're only addressing what is, it's like putting a lid on the pot. But the fire and the wood and the wind has not been addressed. So after some time, it will still blow off the lid. So changes to lifestyle, changes to diet, changes to the way you do things are very important. They need to be made so that the medicines to work. If not, you are just sitting on a time bomb. You're not sitting on a time bomb, but the medicines will only work for so long. So, what can family and friends do? When you are in a class, anytime you go to a new class, you make new friends, and the friends you make depends to a large extent on what you want. If you want jolly jolly and enjoyment, you find the crew for jolly jolly and enjoyment. If you want someone to teach you so that you can be study partners and you get to understand more or learn faster, you join that group. So your values are very important. If you decide that your health is important, then you should have at least one or two friends, or make at least one or two friends who have the same goal or the same value, and commit to spending time with them so that you support each other. Everyone, we all need support. And even in the family, you don't need everybody, but you need at least one person that understands what you're going through, that can learn with you, and that can support you. There are times when you just need a hug, or you just need a word of encouragement, or you just need someone to talk to about what you're going through. Find somebody, family or your friend, depending on what stage of life you're at. One piece of advice: there is nothing you cannot do. Nothing, absolutely nothing. All you need is the desire. I want to be healthy. I want to control my blood sugar. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to live a healthy life. In life, troubles come, storms come, but we learn to navigate them. We learn to handle them. And that's just the same with diabetes. Do what you have to do. God will do the rest. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. I'm glad you took my advice and watched the video till the end, and I hope you learned a thing or two. So don't forget, watch the next videos because there's still lots of information that will be really beneficial to you. Don't forget soil.web.app. Download it now. See you in the next video. Bye.